This After Effects tutorial is made possible by aejuice.com. Hey guys, in this After Effects tutorial, I am going to show you how to create a dynamic typography animation in After Effects without using any plugins. Now, this tutorial is inspired from one of the VideoHive templates called Seamless Loop Kinetic Posters. I will mention the link to this template in the description if you want to check out all the cool animation that they have. They have a really cool collection of typography animations, so you definitely need to check it out. So let's actually jump into After Effects and get started with this tutorial. Hey guys, make sure to check out I Want It All bundle from aejuice, which contains over 5,000 animated elements, transition, presets and titles for your projects. It comes with a handy pack manager plugin, and this is one of those investments that will last you for a lifetime. Oh, and they also have a free starter pack. It has over 100 animations that you can try it out for free. For more information, check out the link in the description below. Alright guys, here we are in After Effects. Let's start by creating a new composition. Let's go with a width of 2160 and height of 600. Call this text, as this is going to be a text placeholder comp. So I'll hit OK. Then I can select the text tool, and you can of course type in anything that you want. I'm going to type in abstract, just like you saw in the example. For the font, I'm using the heading compressed bold. So of course, again, you can use any font that you like, but I think this looks pretty cool with this design. Let's set this to 500 pixels. Select text tool again, and let's type in our secondary text. There we go, out of the frame. Let's bring this just like that and align it into the center. If you don't see this align tab, you can go into Windows and there you'll find it. So that is our text. Let's pretty quickly add a background. So hit Ctrl Y to create a new solid, call this PG. For the black, I'm gonna go with a kind of a, grayish dark black. That looks good. Again, you can go with any color that you like. Let's create a new composition, which is going to be our main placeholder. So let's call this main, and for the width and height, I'm going to go with 1080 by 1080. You can of course go with 1920 by 1080 if you want to, but I want to create this design or animation for my Instagram post, so I'm going to go with 1080 by 1080. Let's create one more composition for our text animation. So let's call this text animation. All right, for the width, I'll go with 600, and for the height, I'll go with 2160. Hit OK and drag and drop in the text composition into the text animation comp. Hit R to bring down the rotation properties, and let's rotate this by -90. I'll go into effects and preset and type in motion tile. This is the effect that we will be using to animate our text, just like that. So at the very beginning, let's create a keyframe on the tile center. Let's go to 3 seconds and move this just like that. So we have a pretty simple animation, as you can see. Okay, let's go to 6 seconds and let's move this one more time holding shift. So we have something like that. All right, now let's select the layer, hit U so we can see just the keyframe, and move the time indicator to 15 seconds. That is the middle section of these two keyframes. So I'll select the keyframes, hit F9 to ease them. Go into the graph editor, make sure you right click and select edit in speed graph. Select all the points and move them to the left, just like that. Then select these two and move them to the right, and I'm going to try to create a peak just like that. So we have a very interesting animation, as you can see. Pretty simple. Now you can go on creating the same animation again and again, just the way I showed you. But for this, I'm just going to go with two animation. Let's go back into our main composition and drag and drop in the text animation comp. So that is the animation that we just made. Let's hit S to bring down the scale properties and scale this down to 35. That looks good. And now I'm going to select the layer, go into effects and preset and type in mesh warp. Let's double click to apply that up. Now we don't want so many rows and columns. We just want 5 rows and 2 columns with the quality of 10. So that is enough. Let's select the mesh warp effect. And now if I hover over the edges, you can see our cursor turns black, and meaning we can actually select that particular point. And as you can see, we get these handles and we can tweak this any way we want. Really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this point, hold shift, select this one, hold shift, make sure you hold the shift while selecting them. So now we have selected these 3 points, and now I can just move this like so. So I'm going to move this just like that. Now it's a good idea to hit Ctrl R and to bring up the rulers just to be a bit more precise. Just like that. That is looking pretty good. Let's select this point. So I'll just select the mesh warp again, select this point, and let's move this right over here just like that. Select this one, move this one, select this one, and move this one just like so. So now you can see we get an illusion that the text is wrapping up at the back side of the shape. And I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom as well. So like select the point, hold shift and select all the 3 points, move them just like, oh, let's select this again. But just like so, trying to be a bit more precise here. Drag this handle just like that. This one, I'm going to drag it right over here. And this one right over here. And now if I hit Ctrl R, let's close them up. You can see we get this really cool illusion that the text is wrapping up the shape. And that is what I am going for. Now what I can do is let's select this, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, select the bottom one or the second one, hit R and rotate this. So I'm going to rotate it by 180 degrees just like that, and let's place it in the position that we want. So I'm just going to try to eyeball this. Let's place it right over here and let's see what we have. We get kind of a stretchy band look, as you can see. Also, pretty quickly I can select this, go into effects and preset and type in drop shadow just to add a bit more depth into the scene. Let's tweak some settings. Looks pretty good. Maybe I'll set this to around 250. Yeah, perfect. So as you can see, it looks really cool. Now what I can do is let's create a new null object. Okay, let's align this into the center, hold Control and double click on the pan behind tool to move the anchor point in the center. Let's select this, hit Control D to duplicate this. Let's put them at the bottom. Let's change the color so we can, just know that it's a different layer. So there we have it. Let's parent them to the null object. Now if you don't see this parent option, you can just right click right over here, go into columns and select parent and link. So now that it's selected, let's select the null, hit R to bring down the rotation properties, and let's rotate this by 90 degrees. So we have something like that. Now we can actually remove this from the null. So let's set this to none, and I'm going to try to place this into the center manually, just like that. And then I just need to move this one in the second place. So now we have this really cool illusion. As you can see, looks really cool. Now let's select the null. Actually, let's select all of them and parent this to this null that we have, and now we can animate the null. Also, I can bring up the title action safe just to make sure the shape is into the center. Okay, and now we can basically animate this. So let's create a keyframe on the rotation. Let's first of all set the rotation to 0, but before that we need to actually unparent this, set this to 0, and now again. So now let's go ahead and animate this. So I'll select all the layers and go and parent this to the null object. Select the null object, hit R and create a keyframe on the rotation. Go to 3 seconds and let's set this to 90. All right, let's go to 6 seconds and let's set this to 180. And again, I'm going to select all the keyframes, hit F9, go into the graph editor. Let's close the parent and link option so we have some space here. Let's move the time indicator at 15 frames or 1 second and 15 frames. Select the points and move them to the left and then to the right, creating a peak just like that. Now let's see what we get. Now as you can see, this is looking pretty cool. So using this technique, you can create some really amazing shapes and come up with your own design. But I think this looks pretty cool. You can actually play around with this. You can also add some elements to this. So if I go into the text placeholder that we had, I can create a new solid. So hit Control Y, call this maybe grid, hit OK. Let's go into effects and preset, type in grid, apply that up. Let's increase the size just like that. Let's put this at the back and you get a very cool design, as you can see. So there are a number of different things that you can do with this cool design and animation, and I hope it was helpful to you guys. So yep, that is a wrap for today guys. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and if it was, make sure to subscribe, comment, like and follow me on Instagram at dope.motions, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and always stay raw, stay creative. Peace out.